Welcome back to the King's Corner, the place for all things Bethesda. I am the KingFanMan, and this is the KingCast number 82, and welcome. And there is Carolyn G. from Sherwood. How are you doing? We are here to talk all things Bethesda. As always, there's a lot to talk about. We have patch number 20 coming up just in a few days, so obviously we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some other things in the Bethesda world. We're going to talk about other things in the gaming world. And as always, this is a subscriber-driven podcast, so I'm going to answer your guys' questions right there as I'm looking at the board right now, and I'm seeing things come up already. So welcome to the KingCast, and my queen is not here right now, but she is coming in just a minute. So welcome in. Let's talk about some news first, as I always start with a little bit of news. A couple of things that's pretty cool. The Last of Us 2 is the fastest PlayStation 4 exclusive ever. It sold 4 million copies in 3 days. So it is doing amazing. But some news about The Last of Us 2, which is kind of disappointing if you're a Last of Us 2 fan. Naughty Dog and the director has already said they are not going to do DLCs at all for The Last of Us 2. So that's a little bit disappointing. Hey, Coach Toolshed, good to see you. I hadn't seen you in a while. So if you're a fan of The Last of Us 2 and you were wanting some more content, you're not going to get it. At least right now, they have no plans at all to do any DLC for that game, but it is doing amazing right now. I do have some Cyberpunk news, but it's some kind of funny Cyberpunk news, and I really want to wait on the Queen because I'm going to embarrass her like crazy. So we're just going to wait on that, and we're going to jump right into Bethesda news, if y'all don't mind. So y'all remind me about the Cyberpunk news when she gets here. Hey, Jeremy. Hey, Manos. Man, we've got a lot of people jumping in already. Good to see you guys already. Real quick, Doom Eternal just got an update 1.05. If you guys are playing Doom Eternal, it's got a new battle mode map, new mini map, new enhanced stuff for multiplayer, bug fixes. So they got a new update if you're into Doom Eternal. Also, I'd like to know how many of you guys are playing ESO. Y'all tell me about Greymore. You know, they went back to Skyrim, so that's pretty cool. I've done a little bit in it. I like it that it's in Skyrim, but I'd like to know how many of y'all are playing ESO as well. Hey, Slacker, I hadn't seen you in a while. Good to see you back. Happy Saturday to you. Hey, True Flat. Hey, Alice and Trey, good to see you guys in there. But I know most of you guys want to talk about Fallout 76 and this update that's coming. But again, subscriber-driven podcast. Anything's on the board in gaming. We can talk about anything. Most of the time we talk about Bethesda stuff around here, but the board is open. Let's talk gaming today. Hopefully the Queen will be in here in just a little bit. By the way, just a little correction. In my last video, I was talking about the event about the Wendigo Colossus and the legendary perks, and I meant to say this. They are going to put that not in this update 20, but they are going to launch it in a patch right afterwards. That's what they're expecting it to do, and what I expect them to do, and what I'm hoping that they do. I hope they put it out right around July the 4th with Meat Week. That's really what I'm expecting them to do with the, what do they call it? A Colossal Problem and the legendary perks. That's really what I'm expecting them to do, is to put those two things out with Meat Week right around July the 4th. But we'll talk about that. But that's why I included them really in that patch 20, because they're really wanting to launch that just right after. They're not even calling it another update. They just said they're going to put it in a patch right afterwards. So they're still working on those two things right after that. True Flat says, my opinion, maybe one or two things are coming new to 76. The rest, I don't really agree with. Well, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Seasons, because Seasons is really changing a lot. you know, they're taking, not really taking out, because that's what I want to really dive into. They're not really taking out the daily and weekly challenges. We're still going to be doing them. We're just not going to be getting the atoms for them anymore. But we're going to be doing them. We're going to be doing them more for the cosmetic stuff and all of that. I also want to talk about the lunch boxes, because I remember, and I really want to hit on this, guys. I can remember a lot of YouTubers just slamming on this and slamming on this, because they found in the data files a long time ago these lunch boxes. And they were saying that these lunch boxes are going to be purchasable, pay to win items. Do y'all remember this? And I could name the YouTubers down the list. And man, they were giving Bethesda. I can go back and look at the videos, and they can have these lunch boxes shoved up their nose now. These lunch boxes are going to be, and I like these lunch boxes. They are going to be giving you 25 XP when you open them up for you and your teammates. So I'm really excited about the lunch boxes. But y'all think back, and I can think of YouTubers that put out multiple videos because they found these they data mined. And this is another reason you shouldn't data mine, because you have no idea what you're finding. Number one, some of these things may never come out, and you have no idea what you're finding. But yeah, I can remember over a year ago, YouTubers finding, oh, we found lunch boxes. And all they knew was that Fallout Shelter had lunch boxes, and you can purchase lunch boxes in Fallout Shelter to get stuff to pay to win. So they thought that was what it was going to be in Fallout 76. Do y'all remember? And y'all just go back and search and see who the YouTubers were that talked about that. So just something that y'all may think about and discuss amongst yourselves. That was kind of interesting. Hey, Zonder Bunny. True Flat says, and for myself, I was talking about that last night with some friends. I want to see a legendary Colossus cave cricket. No. I hate the cave crickets. They have them way overpowered. The cave crickets are way overpowered. A cricket should not be, there is no way a cricket should be that powerful. No way. Absolutely no way. Okay, let's talk about seasons, because people are mixed on the seasons. And some people are kind of confused about what seasons is going to be and how seasons is actually going to work. We're actually still going to be doing, as far as I understand it, we're going to still be doing the daily challenges. And when we do those daily challenges, we are earning score points. And as we earn those score points, it gets us our ranking so that we can move on the board. Okay. Coach says they did still add the scrap kits and repair kits. Yes, they did do that. So these the daily challenges and weekly challenges aren't going away, but we're not going to get atoms for it anymore. And this is my problem with it. And I said this in the video, and I'm going to just get this right out the bat. Somebody said I was being a little bit too polite about it, and I'll try not to be as polite. I think this is a atom making deal is what this is. I am, don't get me wrong, I am excited about some of the things you get. The ammo converter and some of those things are great, but it is a way for Bethesda to make money through atoms. I mean, that there's no way around it. That's what it is, and that's fine. That's, you know, that's one thing they have to make money on this game. That's great, but they're taking away a way for us to make atoms, and they're, yes, Alexander, it's all about the money. It is. I mean, that's what it is. But if they can do it in a way that we can have fun and still make some atoms and get some good stuff, then see, here I'm trying to be polite again. Then I'm okay with it a little bit. So I'm still hopefully optimistic. But I hate that they're taking away the atoms. But I really want to hear what you guys think about it. I really taking away the atoms. Alexander says, so lame. There's no more daily atoms. I agree, but again, there's still the atoms every 10 pieces, but I mean, you know, that's nowhere near what we were getting. Mano says, are you going to make predictions for QuakeCon? We will talk about that today. Absolutely. And you know what? I was so wrong with Deathloop. Absolutely wrong with Deathloop. That there absolutely may be something coming at QuakeCon. Absolutely. And since they are having something and they've announced something, that yeah, I believe something special is coming at QuakeCon. Yes. Let's see. Where is the queen? She's coming. She's coming. She's on a very important business call right now, so she's not here. So yes, she's coming. Slacker says the more they make, the more we get. That so it is a good thing. Yes, they have to make money on the game. I understand that. Vault Girl says, are some of the levels going to include free atoms like Fortnite gives away free bucks? Yes. We do know this, that every 10 spaces of the actual board game, you get 150 atoms. But now, okay, there's only 100 per season. Now that's not 100 days. Okay, there's not one space per day. So this is what you got to get. This is what you got to get in your mind. Okay, so it's not every 10 days you get 100 atoms. That's not what it is at all. So we're still going to be doing the daily challenges and the weekly challenges, but you have to do those to move in order to move one space. And this is what we're going to have to see. You're going to have to do a lot of daily challenges in order to move one space. Does that make sense? So in order to get to that 10th space to get 150 atoms, you're going to have to do a lot of daily and weekly challenges. So we're going to have to add up, and I'm going to have to look back and see how many atoms I earned through daily and weekly challenges compared to the 150. I know we're going to be losing out. So Coach says, hold on, I missed that. You can't earn atoms. No, they're taking the daily and weekly challenges away and changing it into this season format. That's what we're talking about today. Yes, Deathloop looks really cool. And I know we're all over the place. We're going to talk about two different things today. So let's go back to seasons in just a minute if y'all don't want to, since Manos brought up QuakeCon. We talk about QuakeCon for just a minute. We'll go back to seasons. That's what makes the KingCast so neat. We go all over the place. But since Manos brought up QuakeCon, they really blew my mind with Deathloop. I really did not think they were going to release Deathloop so soon, especially with everything that was going on with the virus and all that stuff, because it's so hard to advertise right now, to market right now, which is one of the reasons that I know that they've waited on Starfield. So it really hit me out of left field that I really thought they were just going to wait on everything this year. I really did. So, I mean, with a new IP especially, it just blew me away. So now that they have said, you know, and they had canceled QuakeCon and everything else. So now we're going to have a digital QuakeCon. We're not going to have a physical QuakeCon. We're going to have a digital QuakeCon. But that means they've got something to show. Okay, well, what are we going to show now? So they've got something else they want to put out there. And as you guys know, and I've even made a video on this, QuakeCon has become and is becoming very quickly Bethesda's E3. It really is. I've gone the last 2 years to QuakeCon. I love QuakeCon. I've also gone to E3. What con? QuakeCon. QuakeCon is in Dallas. And QuakeCon, Quake is the game that came out right after Doom, and they actually have Quake matches where people get together online and they play this game Quake, and they have tournaments. They have Quake tournaments, but they have been having a QuakeCon for years, and it's just grown and grown and grown and grown, and it has become bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's not just about the game Quake anymore. It has become Bethesda's little mini E3. It's just all about Bethesda. And if you guys live anywhere around Texas, I mean, if you live, I mean, people come from all over the place to go to E3. But if you guys live anywhere around Texas after this virus goes out, y'all need to make it to QuakeCon because it's amazing. If you like Bethesda at all, I mean, you actually see more at QuakeCon of Bethesda's stuff than you do at E3. It's 4 huge rooms full of just Bethesda. It is amazing. You can play everything they have, past games, future games. It is incredible. You get to meet everybody. It's really, really cool. They show off new games and announce new games. It's really amazing, and it's about 4 days of just Bethesda. So, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger every year. So, with all that said, they had said this year they weren't going to have a QuakeCon. Well, it's just been announced that they're going to have this digital QuakeCon. Well, why are they having it? Because I believe they've got something to announce. And that's what Manos is talking about. So Manos says they will announce some ESO expansion, new stuff about 76, show more Deathloop and Ghostwire. But aside from that, what else? That's the question. Do they have something new? Is it Starfield they're going to announce? I don't think so. I still think Starfield is going to be next year at E3. But what are they going to announce? Do they have another game they're going to announce? What big are they going to announce? And right now, guys, I know I've said a bunch leading up. Right now, I am stumped. I am absolutely stumped. Deathwire just knocked me. Deathloop just knocked me sideways. It really did. So I'm stumped. I have no idea. I know Skullsy's optimistic about Starfield. Nothing would surprise me at this point. Nothing would surprise me because my predictions have, again, Deathloop. I don't see how they could do Starfield, but I didn't see how they could do Deathloop either. But again, with the pandemic going on, I just don't see how they could do Starfield. I don't know why they would do Starfield in this kind of environment, but I would love it. I would love it. I would love it. Yeah, we've said Starfield enough. Dom is going to be calling on. He's going to be Skyping me in just a minute. Yeah. But I'm still going to hold that Starfield's going to be next year at E3, so that they can actually have a real E3 and show it off, and people can come. But we'll see. I think that I do think they have something up their sleeve. They absolutely have something up their sleeve. But I'm stumped. I am absolutely stumped. Jacob says, I'm not getting my hopes up, but I'd love if we got a new trailer or some gameplay for Starfield. I know BGS prefers to unveil and release in the same year, but we're in weird circumstances. Coach, do you have any thoughts? Do you have anything? He says, well, did they give a date for Deathloop? They did, yes. They've already announced a release for Deathloop. They have absolutely already set for Deathloop. A Doom Mobile? No. That would be neat. Yeah. When is guys? My memory's terrible. What did they set for Deathloop? Somebody tell me on Deathloop. Vault Girl says, I think the PS5 showcase thing, Deathloop was announced for 2020 and Ghostwire set for 2021. Yeah. Jeremy says, wasn't it October 2020? Okay. Yep. That sounds right. My memory with my lupus, as the queen says, my lupus, I forget so easy. Mano says, if Starfield is ready and they use the whole pandemic thing to secretly delay it in order to polish it more, then I say please let them. Manos, I have said that Starfield is ready. It has been ready. With everything I know, with every insider I know, Starfield is ready. It is beyond ready. It has been ready. But I mean, there's a lot of delays. I mean, there's delays with the next gen. There's delay. The pandemic has messed up everything. It has messed up everything. But again, this Sony contract, guys, that's something we have to talk about. The Sony contract with Deathloop, again, that knocked me for a loop. Can y'all believe that Bethesda signed a contract with Sony? They have been like enemies for years. Bethesda has been hooked with Microsoft since Morrowind. Literally since Morrowind. They have been partners with Microsoft and Xbox since Morrowind. I could not believe they did that. Now, does that mean, and I know it doesn't have to mean this, but does that mean that Sony and Starfield are going to be together? Did they make a huge deal? I mean, is it also going to be a time deal with Starfield? Because again, Bethesda has been with Microsoft since Morrowind. So did they only sign a 2-game deal? I don't know. David says, I agree, King. This pandemic has caused a lot of trouble and grief. Coach says, very true. About time they worked it out. I agree. Manos, I live for the day to see BGS game with less bugs than the average. I think Starfield is going to be it. Starfield is going to be a whole new deal for BGS. A whole new deal. Vault Girl says, not just Deathloop, but Ghostwire as well. Yep. Coach says, especially after Pete Hines threatened to pull PS games to PS4. Yep. And it's all about the money. Yes, it is. That, of course, that's what the deal was. Absolutely. No doubt. But I don't think it was just a 2-game deal. I don't think Sony and Bethesda just made a Ghostwire and Deathloop deal. I think Starfield is the money, guys. Those of you that like Deathloop and like and don't get me wrong, I love that studio. I love Dishonored. I love Prey, but that's not where the money is. BGS has the money. That's where the money's coming in. So if Sony really wanted the money, that's where the contract is. So let's see. Shane says, I'll not buy another game from them. What'd they do, Shane? Tell me what they did, why you won't buy another game from them. Mano says, by the way, that's why Cyberpunk was delayed again. Yep, they just delayed it again. So it will be a launch title with the new console. Who knows, maybe, just maybe, that's also the deal with Starfield. I agree. It's looking really like Starfield may be in that deal. Yep. Coach says, maybe, but I'll still see it coming this year. Jeremy, I think they're giving the smaller title to Sony and giving Starfield to Microsoft. Interesting. Let's see. Will Starfield be single player or multiplayer? Oh, there's a question. Oh no. I still think it's going to be single player. I think it's going to be single player all the way. If I just do. I think if Bethesda's smart, they'll go single player all the way. They'll go back to the Skyrim model and go single player all the way. I read. There he is. We said Starfield way too much, and Dom is here. I knew he would be. We're talking Starfield, Dom. We are talking it big time. I now this is just me personally. Coach says with social elements, I don't know in the modern era if you can get away with just single player only, but I would go back to that Sky model and just go right down the single player. But we know that Fallout 76 was a practice for future games so that they could work on their multiplayer. But I still think they go back single player if they're smart. That's my opinion, though. Jacob says if they do multiplayer for Starfield, it'd probably be like what CD Projekt Red is doing, and it would release way after the base game. That's an interesting thought. PJ says, I wonder what the customization is going to be like in Starfield. Mano says, but now they have all the tools for multiplayer. Yes, they do. Jefferson says, hey, King, I have a picture of my father standing with Elvis. Really? I would love to see that. That is awesome. That is amazing. If they make Starfield 100% single player, people are going to complain. Yes, they are. But if they put multiplayer in it, people are going to complain. You don't understand. That's the thing. People are going to complain either way. No matter what Bethesda does, people complain. Hadn't y'all figured that out yet? No matter what Bethesda does, people are going to complain. It's ridiculous. Used to, it didn't matter. People didn't complain. But now it's gotten no matter what Bethesda does, people complain. Mano says, it's a huge sandbox single player we all loved, and also having multiplayer mode on top of it, that is fine. Yeah, either way would be fine with me, but I want that single player. It's got to have that single player. It has to have that single player. I don't mind if it has a social element or a co-op or a multiplayer mode. I don't mind, but Coach says the main thing they have to do is don't overpromise. That's true. Jacob says, I don't care what it is as long as it is BGS Open World Sandbox RPG, I'll buy it. Hey, Noah, what's going on? The complainers are mostly in the cult. They are so loud. The complainers are so loud, and I don't know why people listen to them. Yeah, Maryland only makes the single-player titles. I agree. Noah just woke up. Well, you made it just in time. Just in time. I just hope there isn't too much procedurally generated content. Oh, I don't think so. I think y'all are going to be pleasantly surprised with Starfield. Yeah, I think it's going to be amazing. As Todd says, well, talking about Coach overselling, yeah, Coach, you're a complainer. Todd really, and I'm talking about Todd Howard now, he talks glowingly about this game. He really does. I mean, this is his baby when talking about Starfield. This is really his baby. And as much as he loves the Elder Scrolls, this one is the one that he's been looking forward to. And I believe the one he has put his passion in. So I think this one's going to be very, very special. I really do. I really do. No Radiant Quest. Yep. Dom says it's been in the making since Fallout 4. It really's been in the making before that, Dom, quite honestly. And you know that too. I mean, they and we've talked about this before. They've been wanting to make a space game. You know, they made the 10th Planet. They had the license to make a Star Trek game. If y'all didn't know, Bethesda used to own the license to Star Trek. They were making a Deep Space Nine Star Trek game and stopped. But they've been wanting to make a open world space game for a long time. This has been BGS's dream. This has been Todd Howard's dream. But they've been tied down with the Elder Scrolls and with Fallout. So but yes, this exact game, they actually started working on it before Fallout 4 was complete. I believe in 2013 was the first reports of it being actually going. So that's amazing. Yep. Mano says, let's see, he's talking to Zonner Bunning. David says, I would have played a Deep Space Nine game. Yeah. If y'all have seen the 10th Planet trailer, and it was from the 90s from BGS. It's actually a neat looking game from the 90s. I mean, it's really, really, really neat. Really, really, really cool. Here comes Dom. Hey, brother Dom.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
You know the rules, man. You talk Starfield, I shall appear. The funny thing is, it happens every time. I literally clicked on. I was like, okay, I'm sat down. I'm ready to watch the live stream.
You can't.
And the first thing was, oh, Starfield will be single player, and I was like, oh, for God's sake.
You can't stand it. It's Starfield. All right, can y'all hear my brother Dom? Say,
hello.
Can y'all, if y'all can hear him, we're good.
Dom flexing. I'm not flexing.
Coach has a question for you. Where did the idea come from that Maryland didn't really make 76? Seeing no evidence of that, despite looking to find the source. All I saw was an old Reddit.
Yeah, they were pretty straightforward with that out of the gate when the game was announced, because I think the first substantial evidence was the no clip documentary.
Yeah.
Where Todd says that he had, they were working. No, they didn't say they were working on Starfield, but they had the idea for Fallout 76, and they were like, okay, well, if we're going to do this, we don't really in Maryland know how to deal with online things, and if we're going to use our engine, we need to hire. And Todd.
Yeah, that was the very purpose of the Austin studio, was for Fallout 76. In fact, they took what was the name of that game that they were working on?
Oh, Battle something.
Yeah, I can see it in my mind. Gosh.
Oh, I can't remember what it was called. It was called Battle something, but I can't really remember.
Yeah.
Battle Cry. Thank you, Mano.
But yeah, people from Maryland, Coach, would go down to Austin and actually help the Austin studio work on this. So there were people from Maryland that worked on the game, but the Austin studio is the one working on this fully. Yeah.
They worked on it from the ground up.
Yeah.
Because obviously later we discovered that since Fallout 4, Starfield was Todd's main vision. He said, when we were finishing up the main story for Fallout 4, they knew they were going to be working on Starfield, because he said, obviously, he knows people they want Elder Scrolls 6, but for them to realize the vision of that game, technology wasn't quite there. So it was like, okay, well, now's the time we can work on Starfield, and then technology will be at a point where we want our vision for TED 6 to be fully realized in that technical element. I mean, I've always said following Skyrim is going to be no easy task, and I would hate to be in that studio's shoes and be like, obviously they're geniuses, they know they have the vision for TED 6 and it's going to be amazing regardless, but there's always that part that goes like, if that was your job, you'd be like, okay, we really nailed it with Skyrim, and we have to top that, because people still play Skyrim, people still play new characters, they still love that game to death. I would be kind of shaking a little bit to be like, okay, we have to follow this up and make it bigger and better. So I understand what they mean, where they have this huge ambition for technology and whatever they want to include. And yeah. But anyway,
Coach, the lead developer of the game is Jeff Garner, and he is the director of the Austin studio. I mean, there's no doubt Austin is the studio in charge. I mean,
yeah. They're the ones running future content and everything.
That's their game. Maryland does not have anything to do with the game at all. It's the Austin studio running the game.
Yeah, and if you've noticed, that's why Jeff's kind of taken a more of a lead role when it comes to public relations and any updates or thank you videos like they did for Wastelanders, which I felt that was a really nice touch for him to make a personal video and say how excited he is about the new content. So that's why every 76 big event you will always see Jeff kind of taking the lead on that, because it's his game, it's his big project, and that's going to be his baby for a long time when they add more content, or continuously add more content. It was that Chris guy, wasn't it? Chris
Myers.
Yes.
Yeah.
But King.
Yes.
Let's dive into some Starfield speculation.
Starfield. Real quick, what do you think about QuakeCon? Everybody's talking because Bethesda just announced they're having this digital QuakeCon. I mean, this is a big deal because it had been canceled. Now they're doing this. Could Starfield be on the menu?
Yeah, someone asked me that today. Personally, I don't think so. I have to be real in that respect.
That's what I said.
But QuakeCon is a big event, and it is basically Bethesda Con.
Yeah, it is.
It's not as much as a worldwide audience like E3 is, or something that. Basically, we're not going to see Starfield until Todd can go on stage and talk about it for half an hour, and it has the world's attention. Especially with the stuff that Cyberpunk is doing this year. I watched their event. I finally got around to watching their event last night, and that game looks so good.
It does.
It even looks like 10 times better than the behind closed doors footage I saw last year.
Manos is asking what the Dallas studio does. They do a lot of VR work. They are a VR studio and a support studio, Manos. They don't, as far as I know, they don't do anything on their own, but they do a lot of VR work, and then they do support work with the other studios.
Yeah, they're the people that like port stuff.
Yeah,
so
right.
Every Switch port and stuff like that is from them.
Right now, I do know when I was at QuakeCon, the head of the Dallas studio was actually in QuakeCon because they were helping on 76 at the time. So, but that was when Wastelanders was coming. So the Dallas studio was with Austin helping Wastelanders because it was like all hands on deck trying to get Wastelanders done. So see that they are a support studio that kind of drifts around wherever the big projects are going.
They're basically like hired help. That makes sense with Dallas, because obviously Austin, Dallas, they're quite close, and I know a lot of the studios. It's like a hub in Austin, so they have quite a lot of the studios. id Software are there, Arcane Studios are there.
Yep.
BGS Austin are there. So it's pretty good for them. Obviously, like they just have Maryland. That's just their own building. From what I've heard from people that have visited, they're older. Obviously, it's the oldest building they've had.
Yeah.
And a lot of the newer pieces of like tech or bigger teams are all in Austin. So yeah. I know. I heard. I think Montreal, like a part of Montreal, are helping on Starfield. I know that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, but if they're trying to finish up a project or something like that, Dallas will go that way and help them. Yeah, that's what Dallas does. But I do know, like I said, they have a lot of VR specialties, so that's their one specialty. So I hope that helped. Jacob says, I still wish BGS would occasionally hand off TES and Fallout to other studios to do spin-off games like Redguard and Battlespire. Different styles of games in those franchises. Yeah, but remember, Jacob, that was before Bethesda has grown. Bethesda's really grown. Think about how many studios Bethesda now has, which is really cool. And I'm not just talking Bethesda BGS. I mean, think about Bethesda as a whole now. Yeah. Bethesda has really grown, which is cool. ZeniMax as a whole.
I'm really, they have Morrowind, like, really shown the potential of the kind of games and the legacy they can have, and games like Doom and Dishonored really shown them how much they could do as a publisher as well. So
Yeah.
they're solid. They are really solid in terms of, and plus they're privately owned, so they don't have to worry about, hitting these targets or development time and stuff. They can really, have a lot of time to develop their games public, either through BGS or Softworks. So that is good for them. So
that is a neat idea. When Fallout New Vegas was done, and I'm just thinking back, how many studios did ZeniMax have then? I can't think. I don't think they had very many at all at that point, did they?
No, I don't think they did. Because did they really not?
I don't think
I can't really remember. No,
I don't think they did at all. So I think it was after that they started purchasing. So wouldn't it be neat like now? And I don't know if this would even be possible, but wouldn't it be neat if you saw a spinoff from somebody like Arcane, or the Wolfenstein studio? Wouldn't it be neat if you
Machine Games?
Yeah, Machine Games. Wouldn't it be neat if you saw a spinoff of one, a Fallout spinoff or something like that from one of these studios instead of a Obsidian? But Arcane's a great studio.
I love Arcane so much.
Yeah.
I got to meet Dinge Becky Bear. Dinge Becky Bear.
Yeah, Becky Bear.
I love saying that name. It's so fun. Last year, the UK QuakeCon, because a few people from Lyon were obviously at the Europe QuakeCon, so they were there to talk about, because they were partnering with Machine Games on the Wolfenstein game. And then obviously he got to talk about Dishonored for a bit, and but I love that studio to death. Their art style.
Oh yeah,
it's second to none.
Absolutely,
I love their art style. It's so uniquely them, and it's also like you could take a piece of concept art and just like hang it as like a period piece.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
It's so gorgeous, and I love the style they're going for with Deathloop, the kind of 70s.
Yep.
Everything's really bright and vibrant, which is the complete opposite of Dishonored and stuff like that. And, yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jacob. I think they did start expanding in 2012. I think that's exactly right. Yeah.
They had Arcane at that point because Arcane. When did Dishonored came out? In 2011. Yeah, September. Yeah. No, October 2011. Yeah.
I think so. I can't remember. Yeah. My memory's terrible, you know me. But
no, it's good.
But spin-offs like that would be so cool from some of those studios. That would be so great to see. Yeah.
Do you know what game I would love Arcane to tackle? And I think they had previously dabbled in this universe as like helping hands. Is BioShock. I think they would nail.
Oh yeah,
they would nail it.
That looks like, of course, Prey looked like a BioShock world. So yeah, absolutely. So
I think
so you're with me. You think Starfield still looks like a E3 next year?
And it will be the big
Yep,
E3.
I think so too. Well, what are they going to do with this QuakeCon? What in the world's coming then?
What is coming? I think they're going to announce the DLC for Doom Eternal. I don't know, maybe some 76 stuff. I'm not sure what's coming up. Is anything coming up? I know they got the Brotherhood stuff coming, or is it out? I don't think it's out yet, is it?
No, it comes this fall.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then obviously you've got Deathloop releasing with next gen at the end of the year. And then a couple months after, you've got Tango Gameworks game, Ghostwire.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's one thing I do want to ask you. What did you think of the Ghostwire demo? I thought it was I was not expecting that.
No. Yeah. Absolutely. Both Deathloop and Ghostwire kind of blew me away. They really did. Yeah. They really did.
I do have a theory.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks for being here. And yeah, Jeff Garner's been with Maryland, but if you'll look, he is the lead developer at Austin. He got that job. I promise. I promise I'm not misleading you. You can call Austin and he'll answer the phone. I promise. I've met him.
Tell him the king sent you.
I talked to him. I promise. I can message him for you.
But yes. Yeah, I can't wait to play that. I was very surprised that it was a next gen title.
Yeah.
Because there's evidence online to say that it was being rendered for PS4 and Xbox One. I was like, wait, what? And then they were like,
yes.
It's a next gen game. I was like, oh, okay. But it's all good. It's all good.
It is. What surprised me was that Deathloop is coming so soon. That just shocked me. I cannot believe they are releasing a new IP when you can't really market anything right now. That just is so crazy. It is really crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is one of the reasons I feel like Maryland. The reason we won't see Starfield this year.
Oh yeah.
Is because of all of this, and with E3 being cancelled. Like if they went ahead with E3, they still had a conference, I'd have been like, okay, yeah, maybe it could come because they have worked on it long enough. But are they willing to advertise it this early when next gen's not out yet? People don't really know what the technology is, and that's another benefit I feel is for Bethesda to do a 2021 release is they have hands-on time with the finished product of next generation. They can do their research. What are people finding frustrating with next gen consoles, or at least the first batch? Because there's always some issue with the first batch. Is it overheating? Is it this? Is it that? Do they have to scale down? Or have they got more room to? Or maybe we can do that now because we thought we may have to limit ourselves. What Bethesda are like. And they actually have another year-ish before release until, with next generation consoles, fully finished, fully released to the public. That's a smart move, I think, for Bethesda. Instead of being like, okay, here's a release title. Oh, wait, we're running into all these issues now. Because obviously they only have to develop on the dev kit. It's not out to the public, Yeah. And that's another good reason, I think. But next E3 will be the big one where Todd comes.
Here comes Todd. Yeah.
We're finally telling you the tone of Starfield. Had to do it. Yeah. We'll be there like, yeah, in the crowd. And I'll run on stage like, you said Starfield.
Jacob says Ghostwire looks cool too, but it still has that horror element, so I'm not sure if I'll dig into it. Yeah. Well, it had to have a little bit of that horror because look who it's coming from. I'll probably wait until after it's out before going for that one. Look who it's coming from. Look what their last game was. It had to have. It's not a horror game. It's more, I would call it a suspenseful. Like a
thriller.
Thriller. There you go. It would be a thriller, not a horror game. But yeah.
I'm very intrigued.
And that's really what I wanted to see from them. I wanted them to get away from the horror and go for more of a thriller game. Yeah.
I think it's that makes you think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't wait for both of them. I'm excited for both of them. Absolutely.
Yeah.
James says, when do you think Starfield gameplay will be shown? I think they're going to wait for E3.
Yeah, it'll be May next year. They do that little tease, and then you're like, oh, crap is coming. That's the thing. It gets people hyped to tune into that E3 showcase and be like, oh, I want to know more. And then Todd comes on, Starfield is a game. No, it's going to be 16 times the size of the universe.
I know this. Todd says he's going to wait until right before they release it, and he's going to stick with that. So,
yeah, that's their best marketing thing.
Yeah,
and plus it gives people. I know people don't want to. They like to match these two companies together, but it gives Cyberpunk a year or so to be released. People have played it for a year. they've had their fun. Out comes Todd Howard. They drop a teaser. They do a live stream event again or something and tease the trailer. People are like, oh right, yes, let's go. We've played Cyberpunk. What can Bethesda do? Let's Starfield. You know what it's like before E3.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Speculations are coming and everything. People are hyped for it, and then they drop it. They drop that half an hour to 40-minute conference just on Starfield. They can really go to town because obviously this is a new IP. They're going to be wanting to get in your face. Why is this game good? Why have we been working on it for this long? What's the universe? What's the player? What can you do? What are some of the features? People are going to be excited, and it gives CD Projekt Red their time in the limelight, and then it gives Bethesda their time in the limelight equally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they know each other. Todd has said that he looks up to their developers and what they've been doing, and he's clearly been keeping an eye on Cyberpunk, of course, as you would.
Hey Heath, well, since we talked about it, do you think that the Sony partnership is going to bleed into Starfield? Do you think there's going to be that connection with Sony and Starfield?
I don't think they will, only for the pure fact that I know it's a new IP for Deathloop and for Ghostwire.
Yeah.
But when it comes to BGS, they want to release to the most the broadest audience straight away from release.
I don't mean exclusive. I mean, do you think they're going, because they always have that that little tag, works better on Xbox or works better on Sony. Do you think they're going to have some kind of contract with Sony and Starfield?
Again, I don't think so, because if they're hyping people up this much for Starfield, they've said they've been working on it since 2015. People are already excited. Me and you both know we get comments every day, messages every day from people that watch our stuff and are like, when do you think it's coming? Or I think it could be this event. People are excited about it. Every event that gets mentioned, the question is always, will Starfield be there?
Well, let me remind you of something, and this is just how Bethesda works, okay? Todd Howard actually gave us the very first trailer for Fallout 76 on the Microsoft stage. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And it's not because Xbox got it first, but it's because they were in contract with Microsoft. And
at that time, they had the beta exclusive thing, didn't they?
Yeah, and everything with Fallout 76 says works better on Xbox. So, and of course, they made a lot of money with Microsoft that way. And they have all the way back, like I've said, all the way back to Morrowind.
Yeah. That was their first console title.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if they've started a whole new partnership with Sony.
I mean, I get it for a Softworks title,
Mm-hmm.
but I'd be very surprised if they did that with Starfield. Being a brand new IP from their most exclusive studio.
Well, that's what I was saying before. That's where the money is, right there.
Yeah, and it's the first title from Todd Howard.
Yeah.
And his team since Fallout 4.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised for them to be like, okay, well, it's going to be a timed exclusive on Sony.
Well, and that's what I say. It don't have to be a timed exclusive to still have that Sony name on it, though. So you can still
for advertisements.
You can still have it works better on Sony and not be a timed exclusive. You see. Yeah.
I wouldn't care about that. I mean, yeah, it's advertisements, but you can still go out and buy it on whatever console you own.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And it's next. They're both powerful machines. This next generation consoles. Obviously, Sony are pushing the boundaries with. To be fair, I don't know much about the Xbox One X. I haven't seen a game that I've gone, oh wow, this looks insane. But I know Unreal 5 engine will be working on both systems. So,
but if you don't you remember how they used to do with the Xbox when the DLCs would come out, Xbox would always get them first.
Sorry, 1 minute.
It was kind of funny back then. It wasn't the game. The game would all come out at the same time, but the DLCs, Xbox, if I remember right, the game, everybody would get at the same time. But when the DLCs would come out, Xbox would get them like a week ahead of time. And Sony would have to wait, see. And then Xbox had all the advertisement. So that's what I'm wondering, if Starfield is going to have that kind of contract with Sony.
I mean, only time will tell, but they'd have to pay a lot of money for.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
A lot of money for BGS, because they know that money they've sunk into development will be going back. Like Todd Howard's main projects do not undersell. It's gonna be it'll be big. Of course, it's a new IP, so they have to think about how's it gonna land, and that's where the marketing's gonna come in, and they're gonna have to do a huge campaign, bigger than anything they've done. Because obviously, TED 6 will sell itself. You just say the name, it's out this day, sold. Everyone's going to buy it. Starfield, they're going to have to do that big press conference where they go, this is why you should play it. This is what we've been doing. This is how long we've been thinking of it. I don't know. I hope they don't do that. Exclusive marketing. But if they do, and they release both on the same day on every console system, whatever, then I don't mind. Do whatever you want. Yeah.
It's just something they've done since Morrowind. It surprised me they went to Sony, though. It shocked me to my core. Good. I thought they'd stay with Microsoft, but wow.
I did hear some things that Arcane were going to be at the Sony event, though. But I obviously they didn't say in the conference that it was exclusive. It was only after on Twitter, and it was like exclusive, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It was only a few years ago when Todd was like, "Oh, Sony are," in polite term, pissing him off.
Hey, for those that are just joining me, I am talking to Just Dom from the Just Dom Show. There is his link right there. If you aren't subscribed to him, he is an awesome YouTuber and he does awesome work. So y'all go check out his channel. Don't go check it out right now, but there is his link. Y'all can subscribe to him right now. And I appreciate him being on the show.
Oh, of course. I just wanted to call in. Sorry, I just took over. So I'm very sorry.
We said the word Starfield way too much. Hey, before we stop, let's talk a little Fallout 76. And I know you don't play as much as I do, but we have a huge update that is coming. Let's see, in 3 days on the 30th. And we have some major stuff coming. There is the new seasons thing that is coming. And it's called the Legendary Run. So that's kind of cool. And also Public Teams is coming. And we were talking about that a little bit before you came on. And then I believe, and I wanted to tell everybody this because I just made a video on this, and I meant to clarify on the video. The Legendary perk system and the event, A Colossal Problem, it is coming in a patch, not in the update, but it's coming in a patch. They called it a patch, not another update. It's coming in a patch right after the update, and I believe it's going to come right around July the 4th, probably with Meat Week coming right after, right in that patch. So that's something very much to look forward to. So if this update comes on the 30th, just a few days after that, maybe we can get the legendary perks and that Colossal Problem event and the Meat Week event. So, that's a lot of content coming just in the next few days, guys. But I really want to hear, Gabe says, love me some Meat Week. I want to hear real quick before we leave, if y'all are excited or worried about seasons. Again, I'm hopefully optimistic. I hate that they're taking our atoms away, but I really am still excited. I'm hopefully optimistic. Hey, Raider Billy, what's going on? Good to see you. He's beyond excited. All right. and the reason I'm optimistic is because, guys, the old system had become just. I mean, you gotta change things. You can't just keep things the same way over and over and over. And I've been playing this game going on 2 years, so I mean, you got to change things. And it's okay if Bethesda makes a little money. That's all right. That's what they're in the business for. That's my opinion. So, what do you think, Dom? Is it okay if they make a little bit of money?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, unpopular to some people's opinion. Obviously, companies do have to make money.
Yep.
And each studio funds itself in a way. So obviously, that money will be going directly to Austin and them implementing bigger and better DLCs that they have planned
into this game. That's right.
Yeah,
Vault Girl says she's gonna reserved, willing to give it a chance. That's kind of the way I am. Heath says he's taking a wait and see approach. That's kind of the way I am. I'm hopefully optimistic. Jacob says I just don't want it to be grindy. Come on now, everything in Fallout 76 is a little grindy. That's all right. Don't want it over the top grindy. Okay, I got you. Let's see. I never used the old system, so okay. Well, the old system was, the daily and weekly challenges, so you could get atoms. I did it every day, so it could get old after a while, but you did get a lot of atoms. Hey, Lady Braven, cautiously optimistic. Very good. I am too, and there's some good things in there that you can earn as well. So that's really good. And that grind, talking about the grind. That is built-in content. Don't think of it as a grind. It is built-in content. I like that. Built-in content. Somebody told me, the game, you don't have anything to do. I have been playing this game going on 2 years, and I have something to do every day. Now, some other person may say it's grindy. Some other person may say I don't have anything to do. Trust me, you have something to do. Because I play every day and there's something to do. There really is.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Ghost says, I'm looking forward to it. Very good. Raider Billy says, what is it like? Close to 200 plus hours of things to do? Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a big title. Big title.
And again, I want y'all to look up those YouTubers that told us that lunchboxes were going to be pay to win and really gave Bethesda down the river. Please do. I could name every one of them, but I'm not going to. But I really want those lunchboxes stuck up their nose.
Oh, I think we know. Yeah, we both know.
Yeah, I know exactly who they were. Done with Elias says, glad you're doing this. Keep it up, man. Thank you. I love it. Oh, one more thing before we go. Just so you guys know how healthy the game is. Some people talk about Fallout 76. There's nobody playing the game. Not many people playing the game. Foshnot was just over, and they put in the second to last inside the vault masks earned. Y'all know how many masks were earned in the Foshnot? And y'all remember, you didn't get a mask every time. Sometimes you got the hat. Sometimes you didn't get a mask. There were 8,646,507 masks earned in Foshnot. Now, that's a lot of people playing Fallout 76.
That's amazing.
That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, I would say the game is pretty healthy. Yeah,
I think Wasteland has reintroduced a lot of people into the Fallout they know and love in this new format.
Yeah,
I think that helped a lot. And great, good for them. Good for them. Keep it up. It seems the turnover for new content is very fast at the moment. Like from what I have been keeping an eye out, 76, but since Wastelanders, they're like, bam, bam. Here's something new. Here's something new. We're planning this. It's going to drop in this month, or they're doing great work. So.
No doubt. And then Gabe says, yes, public teams. Public teams is another thing. Joey Cap says it's the most underrated thing that is coming. If you don't have friends that play, this is great. I don't talk about it much because it's not really something I'm going to use. But yes, if you don't have friends that play the game, this is going to be amazing for you. You can either make your own team and have people come and play with you to do what you want to do, or you can actually find people to play that are doing things that you want to do. And real quick, here are the categories, are the team goals in public teams. You can find teams that are hunting. You can find teams that are role playing. You can find teams that are doing events. You can find teams that are exploring. You can find teams that are building, or you can find teams that are just casually playing. So that is very, 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 very cool. Very cool. Y'all remind me next week. I will do the Cyberpunk news while Queen is here. I've got some really cool Cyberpunk news, but I want to wait until she's here because it's really funny. So with that said, Dom, do you have anything before we go? We're out of time. This podcast just goes so fast. Yeah. Y'all remember to hit that like button. Dom, thank you so much for being on the show. Starfield. And Dom gets here and he just shows up.
Anytime. Well, I'm actually employed by Maryland to keep on the level
to just show up when somebody says Starfield.
To keep the speculation at a level. You know, that's the reason I stopped making videos. Because yeah.
Thank you, Jeremy, for saying it was a great podcast. Y'all hit that like button. Y'all have an excellent weekend. Thank y'all so much for being here. Heath, I got to go check the PO box, or ask Queen if she picked it up. By the way, how's the light? I got a Father's Day present of this big old box, one of those studio lights, and now don't I look amazing in this light now? No, it shows all my faults now. Y'all have a great weekend. Bye, guys.
Bye.